Recently I discussed the Sonic & Knuckles collection, released in 1997 for the PC. However, I forgot to talk about something extremely important. What I didn't mention was that the American and European releases came with a program known as Sonic the Hedgehog, the Screensaver, which was released as a standalone product in Japan the previous year. To all you goddamn motherfucking 13-year-olds who don't even know what a screensaver is, well, back in the Stone Ages we used cathode ray tube monitors, and there were these programs that filled the screen with moving images to prevent phosphor burn-in. So as you might expect, the program features little animations of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik that cycle through various pieces of Sonic art. You can also be set to play music from the Genesis games. Unfortunately, there isn't any particularly high-quality video of this program running on YouTube. Best I have are some GIFs from Sonic the Hedgeblog. So someday I guess I'm gonna have to track down a copy of this shit and capture some high-quality footage on a virtual machine or something. You may recognize these pictures if you've played Sonic Jam, as you can view them in the art gallery, which is how I first became aware of this art. However, there's also some exclusive official art in the screensaver which isn't found in Sonic Jam. Mostly it's just character art, but there are some clean versions of some box art which is pretty cool. Speaking of art, someone had to make these little Windows icons for the program, and you know what? I like them. Did a good job whoever made these icons. Although they do call Knuckles Knack for some reason. Something else I find concerning is related to the cover art. If Sonic and Tails are out here posing, then who the fuck is piloting the tornado? But where did this art come from? Did they seriously draw all these pictures just for the screensaver? That doesn't seem likely. Well, apparently they were drawn by Naoto Oshima for an official magazine/newsletter that was distributed internally to Japanese SEGA employees called Harmony. Not a lot of details are known about it, other than it ended in 1998, as well as the fact it was not distributed regularly, with there generally being 1 or 2 months between issues. Man, it sure would be cool to be able to read one of these. It'd be fascinating to learn some behind-the-scenes info about what it was like to work at SEGA during the 90s. Wonder what cool new insights we'd get into the history of the company and the franchises they've created. Fortunately, we'll never know, I guess, since nobody has found one, or if they have, they haven't scanned it and put it online yet. Hell, there aren't even any pictures of these magazines, even on Sega Retro. These Sega Retro guys, who are obviously a lot smarter than me, who could probably kick my ass at Sonic Brain Ranking, if even they don't have a fucking picture of this shit, we're fucked. Well, I suppose I'm gonna give it a shot anyways. So I used the top secret advanced research technique of typing Sega Harmony into Google and clicking on a bunch of shit. And we're off to a bad start because of course there's a game called Wizard's Harmony for the Sega Saturn that's clogging up the results. Even if I put magazine in the search, I'm still getting a lot of Wizard's Harmony shit. However, I am getting some results for other Sega related magazines, so I decided I'm going to check those out. Thanks to a thread on Sonic Retro, I found a guy on a Japanese social networking site called Mixi, who seems to have quite a collection of Sega-related magazines. It seems he even has an issue of Harmony listed, but I couldn't see it in any of the pictures he posted. And even with Google Translate, I have no idea what the fuck this post is saying. Man, there sure are a lot of Japanese magazines about Sega. Look at all these. I don't know what it is, but Japanese gaming magazines tend to have awesome covers. Look at this painting of Sonic holding an ice cream cone from the cover of the first issue of a magazine called Sega Jack. And this magazine called Mega Drive Fan has some really good covers. However, my all-time favorite might be this Japanese 3DO magazine, which has some kind of horrifying CGI duck creature as the mascot. Seriously, these covers are fucking incredible. And I'm really not exaggerating or using hyperbole when I say they're some of the greatest pieces of art I've ever seen in my entire life. So obviously my research wasn't really going that well since I hadn't found out shit about Harmony. I swear there's hardly any information about it on the internet, at least in English. On the other hand, I was having fun looking through scans of old Japanese Sega magazines. I found this website which has an issue of Sega Maga scanned and uploaded. Seems like there's some pretty cool shit in here. There's a page with some pictures from a Joyopolis arcade. Look at this awesome gold Sonic statue. I really hope this statue still exists so someday I can find it and have it. There's also a page showing off a bunch of awesome Segata Sanshiro merch. If If you don't know who Segata Sanshiro is, well, I don't really have time to get into it right now, but let's just say the Sega Saturn advertising was 1,000,000 times better in Japan than it was in America, and I will be making a video about it someday. They're also nice enough to keep you updated on summer events news. Apparently there was some sort of live Detective Conan show you could attend. There's some Japanese movie or something called Terrors of America. Looks pretty rad, but good luck Googling it. And of course we can't forget about the Buy Men's Factory. Look at this fucking page. I guess this page is trying to show off what a day in the life of Sonic is like. I've always been fascinated by the various Sonic suits that have been made over the years. I mean, someone was paid to make this suit, someone was paid to wear it, and it probably still exists somewhere too. Check it out, a 2-page spread about Sonic news and shit. The top news is apparently related to Sonic Adventure, which was the hot new shit at the time, but I'm more interested in the section below about Sonic Bowling. This place looks awesome, and frankly, I'm pissed there are no Sonic-themed bowling alleys in America. Oh nice, a section with more weird Sonic costume pictures, including the infamous picture of Sonic with Michael Jackson. This one in particular seems fascinating. It looks like the costume they had at the 1991 Tokyo Toy Show prior to the release of Sonic the Hedgehog, which would make it one of the earliest costumes for the character. And below that there's a box labeled Topics, which has a picture of a statue of Colonel Sanders. I'm not entirely sure why it's in this Sega magazine, but it probably has something to do with that Japanese urban legend related to a baseball team, where a bunch of rowdy fans threw the statue in a river after their team won, then they went on a massive losing streak or something. It's kind of like the curse of the Billy Goat, but instead of a goat, it's Colonel Sanders. Anyways, there's actually a reference to this urban legend in Sonic Adventure. If you're familiar with that old man statue you can pick up, there's a girl who tells you not to throw it in the river. Fuck you, bitch, don't tell me what to do. And at the bottom of this spread, there's, why, what's this? There's a section on Harmony. I mean, look, there's the screensaver art. I'm pretty sure this has to be what issues of Harmony look like. And it looks like there's even a little information on each issue listed. Sure would be nice if I could read Japanese so I could tell you guys what this says, but unfortunately I can't. And I don't think I'm going to be able to uncover any long-lost scans of the magazine online, nor am I going to find any actual issues of Harmony that somehow made their way to America, if there even are any. So this is me asking someone, anyone, please, go to Japan and find an issue of this shit. They made these things, they're out there somewhere, and now it's up to you guys to go find them, by whatever means necessary. I don't care if you gotta get your hands dirty and beat up a few old Japanese businessmen, Yakuza style. Do whatever it takes. Hell, it's probably mostly full of boring business-related shit, but it's worth it anyways, just on the off chance there's one piece of interesting Sonic-related lore in there. Sorry man, I just gotta know. So what's the deal with this video anyways? Why am I such a weirdo who's obsessed with this art? I don't know man, I just really like it. I've been fascinated with it ever since I first saw it in Sonic Jam, and the fact they made all this cool Sonic art that was originally for Sega employees only, well I just think it's neat. And of course, the most important part, which is that it's obviously all canon. So I'm briefly going to go through this art and see what interesting canon Sonic information I can learn from it. There's quite a few of these, so I'm going to try and move through them at a brisk pace. Here's Sonic running late for work with toast in his mouth like an anime girl. I guess Sonic has a day job in the city. I'm not sure why he has a tie and shirt in his briefcase considering he's usually naked, but maybe his job is a dress code. Here's Sonic sharing a rainbow with a snail, as we've all done at some point in our lives. Sonic on safari. Oh yeah, I guess he actually does wear clothes sometimes. Here's Sonic picking me up for prom night, looking very suave with his bow tie. I like how the bouquet of flowers is about as big as he is. There's Sonic waiting for the bus, not something you would typically imagine Sonic doing, but sure, why not? You don't know how many sleepless nights I would lay awake in bed wondering to myself, does Sonic like tomatoes? Does Sonic like baguettes? Well, thankfully now we know. Sonic and Tails in front of a big 2. I doubt this was intentional, but it kind of looks like Sonic just punched Tails in the back of the head. Here's Sonic and Tails welcoming us to some kind of glorious futuristic Sega world. I imagine this will be the last thing I see before I die. This one's pretty funny, and more importantly, it establishes that Sonic has a mailbox, so presumably that's Sonic's house in the background. Sonic being a homeowner confirmed canon. This one is great. Sonic sunbathing reminds me of the OVA, and Tails is a little butler delivering a cocktail. That's just some classic Sonic shit right there. This one is way past cool because not only is Sonic riding a bicycle, but we get a nice official render of the Death Egg in the background. Which is cool because there's never really a part in Sonic 2 where you get a good look at the whole thing, apart from the level select icon. I love this one because it looks like Sonic is enjoying a nice cozy Christmas Eve or something, and Tails is like, "Can I come in?" And Sonic is like, "No Tails, you have to sleep outside because you're an animal." Either that or Tails is some sort of weirdo stalker. No matter how you look at this picture, it's pretty great. Hey look guys, it's Super Sonic! I like this picture and I remember that I tweeted it last Christmas. Sonic would make a really good Santa Claus when you think about it. Hey, you! I can't tell if Sonic is passing me a baton or about to bash my skull open with a copper pipe. Sonic plays soccer confirmed canon. I like this one because he's got cleats on. That pose looks kind of familiar. Sonic also confirmed to play American football, aka Pigskin. It's Sonic and Tails at the Cannonball Grand Prix, which I assume is a reference to the movie Cannonball? It's Sonic if he was a Castlevania. This is a pretty fucking sweet picture, actually. Okay, so it seems like Sonic found a magic lamp in the middle of the desert and wished for a SEGA building to appear, possibly an arcade. When I look at this picture, I just can't help but think it looks like Sonic just wished for the SEGA headquarters to explode. Hey, it's Sonic and Rocky! Not sure why Sonic is smiling in this picture since he can't swim and is clearly about to drown, but okay. I like this one because he has a goofy face. Also, surfing is cool and totally something Sonic would do. This picture canonically proves Sonic could play tennis before Sega Superstars Tennis was a thing. Hey look, I guess Tails can play the piano, even though his stubby little legs can't reach the pedals. Sonic helping Tails while mountain climbing. Hey Tails, you know you can fly, right? Sonic on a camping trip with all his little animal buddies. Even Robotnik's just hanging out. Also, it kinda looks like Cucky's ass is on fire. Another one with the animal buddies. Hey, you can never have too much Sonic surfing, right? Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Alien life has just been confirmed canon in the classic Sonic universe. What a time to be alive. Wow, look how cool Sonic is. He's on his cell phone and Skyping with Tails at the same time. Also, apparently Sonic's little animal friends are smart enough to drive cars, and poor Cucky is getting rear-ended and having shit dropped on his car. Sonic and Robotnik have their differences, but as you can see, they are part of the same biker gang. I've always been fascinated with this idea that it's not enough for Sonic to be the fastest on foot, he has to assert his dominance when it comes to car racing as well. The best part of this image is clearly Space Santa in the bottom right, having upgraded from reindeers to shooting stars. Sonic never really struck me as the sailing type, but I guess it makes sense for him to use boats since he can't swim. All the little animal friends are decorating the Christmas tree, except for Cucky, who has a bow and arrow for some reason. Man, something is wrong with Pecky's face in the bottom right, but other than that, it's just Sonic skiing in the air and Tails on a flying snowmobile. So nothing out of the ordinary. Sonic in a hot air balloon. Oh yeah, this picture reminded me there was an actual Sonic the Hedgehog hot air balloon in real life too. Truly, there is a Sonic version of everything. Sonic's rocking a stylish bandana, although flying a plane is nothing new for Sonic. Hey look, it's Sonic and Friends at an arcade. And not just any arcade, this is Joyopolis. Hey, wait a minute, I've been saying it wrong, it's not Joyopolis, it's just Joypolis. Huh. Anyways, I really love this picture just because of how nauseatingly colorful it is. I also really like this one too, a Sonic concert apparently. I really like all the little SEGA references in the background to the Pico, Sega Saturn, and Virtua Fighter. Also, it's nice to know that despite their differences, Robotnik is willing to play drums for Sonic's band. Seems like a natural percussionist. I'm not sure if that's a gigantic Robotnik balloon in the background or if his latest plan to take over the world involves floating around spraying out confetti. Unfortunately, we may never know the whole story behind this picture. I'm not sure if the best part of this one is Laughing Knuckles and Robotnik in a bush or the guy who's about to commit suicide by jumping out of a hot air balloon. This is the last one, and it might be my all-time favorite. Sonic and Tails just suspended in the air, either floating or falling, playing a Sega Saturn that's not actually hooked up to anything, unless it's supposed to be hooked up to this rainbow. But it kinda seems like it has something to do with this screen, which has Knuckles getting hit, and the word bung. All in all, this picture is simply a masterpiece. Well, that's all of them, huh? Was there something else I was supposed to be talking about? Is there some kind of important Sonic-related news I should be discussing right now? Ah well, I'm sure if it's important I'll get around to talking about it soon enough. Special thanks to all of my goddamn patrons, every single one of these guys. I simply could not have done this without them. You might even say they're the ones enabling this absurd behavior of mine. Anyway, sorry about the minor delay. If you're interested in what I've been doing and what I'll be doing in the near future, there's a State of the Channel video up over on my second channel. Check the description for a link.